I have always put family first. That was how our parents raised us before they passed away. For the past 2 years, I have been financially supporting my younger sister Jessica and her fiancé Tyler. I never complained, even as my savings drained away. I thought I was helping them get on their feet. Until that fateful evening when I came home early from a business trip and overheard them laughing about their sucker brother who kept paying their bills. Before I tell you what happened next and how everything changed, drop a comment letting me know where you are watching from, and hit that like button if you have ever felt betrayed by someone you trusted and helped. Family means everything to me. Always has. As the eldest child in our small family, I learned responsibility early on. Now at 32 years old, working as a successful software engineer in Seattle, I thought I had my life figured out. I have a spacious 3-bedroom apartment downtown with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Puget Sound. My career was taking off, and I had built a close-knit community of friends through work and my weekend rock climbing club. Life was good, at least on paper. Everything changed 5 years ago when my parents died suddenly in a car accident on their way home from celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary. The loss was devastating. In one moment, our family of 4 became just me and my sister Jessica. At 26, Jessica is 6 years younger than me, and I have always felt protective of her. After our parents died, that protective instinct went into overdrive. I felt responsible for her well-being, for continuing the legacy our parents had built. She was all the family I had left. Growing up, Jessica and I were incredibly close. She was my shadow, following me everywhere, wanting to do everything her big brother did. I taught her how to ride a bike, helped her with homework, and scared away the neighborhood boys who pulled her pigtails. When she had nightmares, it was my room she ran to, not our parents. Those memories formed an unbreakable bond between us, or so I thought. After our parents died, I kept their last family photo on my living room wall. It was taken at Christmas just months before the accident. All 4 of us wearing matching sweaters, laughing at some joke Dad had made. It was my most treasured possession, a constant reminder of the family we once were. I even turned down a major promotion 3 years ago because it would have required relocating to our company headquarters in Austin. The salary increase was substantial, but I could not bear the thought of leaving Jessica alone in Seattle, even though she was an adult. Family comes first. That was what Dad always said. Jessica was once a promising student, enrolled at the University of Washington studying psychology. She had dreams of becoming a therapist, helping troubled teens work through their issues. Her professors praised her empathy and insight. But all that changed when she met Tyler at a local community college party 3 years ago. Tyler Hoffman was 28 self, described as an entrepreneur, though he had never successfully launched anything. Tall, with carefully styled hair, and an expensive watch he could not actually afford. Tyler had a way of talking that made everything sound like an exciting opportunity. When Jessica first brought him home to meet me, my instincts screamed caution. There was something about his easy smile that never quite reached his eyes, the way he surveyed my apartment, mentally cataloging everything of value. But Jessica looked at him like he hung the moon, so I kept my reservations to myself. Desmond, Tyler has the most amazing business ideas, she gushed during that first dinner. Tell him about your drone food delivery concept. Tyler leaned forward, all confidence. Picture this: custom-built drones, delivering gourmet meals directly to high-rise balconies. No more waiting for elevators or dealing with lobby security. We bypassed the entire ground floor experience. I nodded politely, while mentally calculating the regulatory nightmares, insurance liabilities, and technical challenges his revolutionary idea would face. This was the first of many half-baked business concepts Tyler would pitch over the years, including a dating app for pets, cryptocurrency, specifically for coffee purchases, and soundproof phone booths for public spaces. Despite my concerns, I wanted to support Jessica's happiness. When she called me 1 year ago, squealing with excitement about Tyler's proposal and flashing a diamond ring that looked suspiciously large for someone without steady income, I congratulated her and offered to help with wedding plans. She immediately began talking about a lavish ceremony at Thornwood Castle, with 200 guests and a reception that would break Instagram. The financial trouble began shortly after their engagement. Tyler lost his part-time job at an electronics store for repeatedly showing up late. Jessica was working at a coffee shop downtown making minimum wage plus tips. They could barely afford their small one-bedroom apartment in Ballard, let alone plan the wedding of Jessica's dreams. One evening, they showed up at my door, unannounced. Jessica's eyes were red from crying, and Tyler had his arm protectively around her shoulders. "We got eviction papers today," Jessica explained, her voice breaking. "We are 3 months behind on rent." Tyler jumped in. "My startup investment fell through at the last minute. The venture capitalist got cold feet. But I have another meeting next week with a really interested investor." I knew there probably was no investor, but looking at my sister's tear-stained face, I could not turn them away. "You can stay here temporarily," I offered, "just until you get back on your feet." The relief on Jessica's face was immediate. "You are the best brother ever. Day, we will help with bills and groceries. I promise. It will just be for a couple months tops." I cleared out my home office, converting it into a bedroom for them. I adjusted my morning routine to accommodate sharing a bathroom. I stocked the fridge with Jessica's favorite foods and made space in my closets for their belongings. It was an adjustment, but I told myself it was temporary. Family helps family through tough times. Those first 2 months were awkward but manageable. Jessica and Tyler promised to contribute to household expenses, but there was always a reason why they could not that month. Tyler's check was delayed. Jessica had to pay off an urgent credit card bill. Their car needed unexpected repairs. Meanwhile, I noticed Tyler spent most of his days on my couch gaming on my big screen TV or scrolling through his phone. Occasionally, he would make loud, important-sounding calls about investment opportunities or partnership discussions that never seemed to materialize into actual work. Jessica continued her coffee shop job, but her hours were inconsistent. She came home with shopping bags from high-end stores more often than she brought home groceries. When I gently asked about her spending habits, she became defensive. "I work hard for my money, Desmond. Am I not allowed to buy myself nice things once in a while? You have no idea how stressful it is to be on your feet all day dealing with rude customers." Before I knew it, I was covering all the household bills. Rent, utilities, groceries, internet insurance. Everything fell on my shoulders. The temporary arrangement had no end in sight, and my savings were beginning to feel the strain. 6 months into their stay, the dynamic had shifted completely. What started as helping family through a rough patch had evolved into full financial dependency. Tyler had abandoned the pretense of looking for regular work, instead focusing exclusively on his entrepreneurial ventures. Each one required funding, of course. "Desmond, I just need $15,000 to secure the prototype," Tyler explained one evening, showing me hastily drawn sketches of his latest idea. Motorized shoes that would supposedly help people walk faster. "This is a ground floor opportunity. We could both retire in 5 years if this takes off." Against my better judgment and financial advisors' explicit warnings, I loaned him the money. Deep down, I knew I would never see it again, but I told myself it was an investment in Jessica's future. If Tyler succeeded, they would be set for life. If he failed, at least I had tried to help. Meanwhile, Jessica's requests grew increasingly extravagant. What started as borrowing $20 for lunch became asking for $300 for a yoga workshop essential for my mental health. She needed new clothes for job interviews that never seemed to happen. She required a monthly spa day to distress from her part-time barista position. The breaking point should have been when they approached me about their wedding. Instead of scaling back their plans, given their financial situation, they doubled down. "We found the perfect venue," Jessica said, showing me pictures of an elegant chateau overlooking Puget Sound. "They had a cancellation for next June, but we need to put down a deposit this week to secure it." How much, I asked, already dreading the answer. Tyler cleared his throat. "Just $10,000. But it includes the catering deposit too, so it is actually a really good deal. $10,000. That was what remained of my emergency fund. Money I had diligently saved for years. Yet looking at Jessica's hopeful face, I remembered how she had missed out on having our parents at her wedding. I thought about how Dad would have wanted to give her the wedding of her dreams. Against every rational thought, I wrote the check. "This means everything to us. Jessica hugged me tightly. We will pay you back, I swear. But as the months progressed, I began noticing troubling signs. Once I overheard Tyler on the phone with a friend. Yeah, living with Jessica's brother is sweet. Like having a walking, talking ATM without the withdrawal limits. He laughed loudly, then quickly changed his tone when he realized I had come home. Jessica began comparing me unfavorably to her friend's siblings. Megan's brother bought her a car as an engagement present, she mentioned casually over dinner, and he is just a teacher not pulling in tech money like you. The comments stung, but I brushed them aside. Family supports family, I kept telling myself. Dad would have wanted me to help Jessica. This was what big brothers were supposed to do. One Thursday afternoon, I received an alarming call from my credit card company about suspicious activity. Someone had attempted to make a $5,000 purchase at a luxury jewelry store using my card. When confronted, Jessica admitted she had borrowed my card information for just a few small things because her card was maxed out. She cried and apologized, promising it would never happen again. I believed her. A week later, I discovered Tyler had used my home address to register for an auto loan for a new sports car without my knowledge. When I questioned him, he became defensive and aggressive. I needed a stable address for the paperwork. It is not like I put your name on anything. Why are you being so uptight? After everything we have done for you, everything you have done for me, I asked, genuinely confused. Yeah, keeping you company in this big empty apartment. Giving your life some purpose. You would just be some lonely tech guy without us here. I was speechless. Had they really convinced themselves that living rent-free in my home was a favor to me? Things deteriorated further when I returned from a 2-day business trip to find my apartment had been used for a party. Empty bottles everywhere, cigarette burns on my leather sofa, and a crack in the glass coffee table that no one bothered to mention. When I confronted Jessica, she shrugged it off. We needed to blow off some steam. Besides, you can afford to replace a stupid table. It is not like you have anything else to spend your money on. Each incident chipped away at my patience and goodwill, but I continued making excuses for their behavior. They were young, they were stressed about money, they would grow out of this entitlement eventually. But the warning signs were impossible to ignore. My friends from the climbing gym stopped coming over uncomfortable with Tyler's probing questions about their salaries and investments. My coworkers gently suggested I might be enabling destructive behavior rather than truly helping. My financial advisor scheduled an emergency meeting to discuss the alarming rate at which my savings were depleting. Still, I persisted in my delusion that I was doing the right thing by supporting Jessica. She was my only family. What choice did I have? The moment everything changed happened on a rainy Tuesday evening in October. I was supposed to be in Portland until Thursday for a client meeting, but developed a migraine so severe that my boss insisted I return home to rest. I had texted Jessica that I was coming back early, but received no response. As I approached my apartment door, I heard laughter and voices from inside. Jessica and Tyler were entertaining guests. I was about to enter when I heard my name mentioned, causing me to pause with my key in the lock. Desmond has no idea, Tyler was saying between fits of laughter. We told him the startup failed again, and he actually offered us more money. More laughter erupted, including Jessica's distinctive giggle. My brother has always been like this, she explained to whoever was visiting, so desperate to be needed that he will pay for it. Literally. How much have you gotten from him so far? Asked a female voice I did not recognize. At least $50,000 this year alone, Tyler boasted. Plus free rent, food, utilities. I have not paid for anything in nearly 2 years. What about the wedding deposit, someone asked. Jessica snorted. As if we would waste that on a venue. We are thinking Cabo for a month. Desmond thinks we are getting married at some castle in June. Does he not realize you are using him? The woman asked. He is too blinded by this whole family first thing our parents drilled into us. Jessica replied, her voice mocking. He thinks he is being noble or something. It is actually sad how easy it is. To Desmond, Tyler said, and I heard the clink of glasses. The sucker keeping us in the lifestyle we deserve. The world stopped. Blood rushed in my ears, drowning out whatever was said next. My legs felt weak, and I leaned against the wall for support. The migraine throbbed viciously behind my eyes, but it was nothing compared to the pain in my chest. I had suspected they were taking advantage, but hearing them laugh about it, mock me for it, celebrate it, that was something else entirely. I do not remember consciously deciding to enter. One moment I was in the hallway, the next I was standing in my living room, staring at 4 shocked faces. Jessica and Tyler sat on my couch, with a couple I had never seen before. Wine glasses in hand, an empty pizza box on the coffee table. On the side table next to Tyler was a brochure for Mexican beach resorts. Desmond. Jessica jumped up, her face draining of color. "You are supposed to be in Portland." "Clearly," I said, my voice unnaturally calm. "Please ask your friends to leave. Now." The unknown couple quickly gathered their things and hurried out, mumbling awkward goodbyes. As the door closed behind them, the apartment fell into heavy silence. "Des, whatever you think you heard," Jessica began. "Sucker," I interrupted. "That is what you called me, right? The sucker keeping you in the lifestyle you deserve." Tyler attempted a casual laugh. "Man, we were just joking around. You know how it is when you have a few drinks, saying stupid stuff to sound cool." "Was it also a joke when you said you were using my wedding deposit money for a trip to Cabo?" I asked, looking directly at Jessica. Her eyes widened. "You misunderstood. We were just talking about maybe having a honeymoon there after the wedding." I walked to my bedroom without another word and closed the door. I needed space to think, to process the betrayal cutting through me. Jessica knocked repeatedly, alternating between tearful apologies and defensive accusations about me spying on them. Tyler remained in the living room, occasionally shouting that I was overreacting to harmless venting. Unable to face them again that night, I locked my bedroom door and took a sleeping pill. But sleep did not come. Instead, I spent hours staring at the ceiling, replaying every interaction, every request for money, every excuse and promise over the past 2 years. How had I been so blind? At 3 a.m, a terrible thought occurred to me. I opened my laptop and logged into my bank accounts. What I found made my stomach lurch. There were dozens of unexplained transactions over the past few months. Online purchases, cash withdrawals, transfers to accounts I did not recognize. Jessica had not just borrowed my card information once, she had been systematically using it. Further investigation revealed Tyler had opened several credit accounts using my address and personal details. He had even attempted to apply for loans using my employment information. I spent the rest of the night documenting everything, taking screenshots, making notes. By morning, I had compiled a damning record of financial abuse. When I finally emerged from my bedroom, Jessica and Tyler were in the kitchen, attempting to act normal. "Made you coffee," Jessica said brightly, as if the previous night had not happened. "Your favorite kind." "We need to talk," I said, placing my laptop on the counter. "I want you to see something." I showed them the evidence of their financial exploitation. Jessica began crying immediately, claiming she had only borrowed and intended to pay everything back. Tyler became hostile, suggesting I had given implied consent by always offering money anyway. "I trusted you," I said, looking at Jessica. "You are my sister, my only family." "Oh, stop with the guilt trip," Tyler snapped. "You have been holding that over her head for years." "Poor Jessica, let me rescue you, because I am such a wonderful brother. You love feeling superior. Do not pretend otherwise." Something inside me broke at his words. I went to my parents' photograph that had been relegated to a hallway closet because Jessica and Tyler claimed it did not match their aesthetic. I took it down and noticed something strange. The frame felt lighter than it should. Opening the back, I discovered my father's vintage watch was missing, the one I had carefully stored there for safekeeping after he died. It had been my grandfather's before him, a family heirloom meant to be passed down. "Where is Dad's watch?" I asked, my voice dangerously quiet. Jessica would not meet my eyes. Tyler shrugged. "That old thing, I took it to be cleaned months ago. Must have forgotten to mention it." A quick search on his laptop browser history, which he had foolishly left open, revealed the truth. He had sold the watch to a pawn shop 6 months earlier. That was the final straw. You have 30 days to find a new place, I informed them calmly. I have already contacted a lawyer regarding the fraudulent accounts and unauthorized credit card charges. Jessica burst into tears. You cannot just throw us out. We are family. Where are we supposed to go? That is not my problem anymore, I replied. I have already arranged for a moving company to pack your things this weekend while I stay at a hotel. I will pay for the first month of storage. After that, it is on you. Tyler puffed up his chest. This is illegal eviction. We have tenant rights. Actually, I countered, you have never established legal tenancy. No rental agreement, no rent payments, nothing. My lawyer confirmed this yesterday. But feel free to challenge it. The documentation of your fraud will make for interesting evidence in court. The next week was a nightmare of emotional manipulation. Jessica cycled between rage, tearful pleas, and guilt trips about our parents. Mom and Dad would be ashamed of how you are treating me, she cried. No, I finally responded. They would be ashamed of how you have been treating me. Tyler alternated between threats of legal action and insincere apologies. When neither worked, he began reaching out to our extended family and mutual friends, spinning a tale of my alleged mental breakdown and cruelty. Fortunately, I had anticipated this and had already shared the truth along with evidence with key people in our lives. My Aunt Linda, our mother's sister, was particularly supportive. Your mother would be heartbroken to see Jessica behaving this way, she told me over the phone. You are doing the right thing, Desmond. Sometimes love means setting boundaries. On moving day, I returned to find most of their belongings gone, and my apartment in disarray. They had taken several items that did not belong to them. My expensive sound system, kitchen appliances, even my winter coats. I documented everything for the police report I would file later. Jessica left a note on the kitchen counter. I hope you enjoy your empty apartment and empty life. This is not what Mom and Dad would have wanted, but I knew better. My parents had raised us with values, honesty, respect, integrity. They had taught us that family supported each other, but not that family exploited each other. The first month after they left was both liberating and devastating. I grieved the relationship I thought I had with my sister. I mourned the betrayal. Some nights I questioned my decision, wondering if I had been too harsh. But then I would remember their laughter as they mocked my generosity, and my resolve would strengthen. I threw myself into reclaiming my life. I changed all my passwords and security questions. I worked with the credit bureaus to dispute fraudulent accounts. I filed police reports about the stolen items, including my father's watch, which I eventually tracked down and repurchased from the pawn shop at considerable expense. I learned from friends that Jessica and Tyler had moved into a small, dingy apartment in a less desirable neighborhood. Their wedding venue dreams were obviously abandoned. Without my financial support, they quickly discovered how unsustainable their lifestyle had been. 3 months after they left, I heard through mutual friends that Tyler had broken off the engagement. Once the money disappeared, so did his interest in Jessica. He reportedly moved in with another woman whose family owned a successful restaurant chain. Jessica called me 5 months after moving out. Her voice was different, humbler, quieter. She had lost her barista job, struggled to find new employment with her incomplete education, and was facing eviction again. I am not calling to ask for money, she said quickly. I wanted to say I am sorry. Really sorry. I was terrible to you, Desmond. You deserved better. Her apology sounded genuine, but I had been fooled before. Thank you for saying that, I replied cautiously. I miss you, she admitted. Not your money or your apartment, just you, my brother. We agreed to meet at a neutral location, a coffee shop downtown. The Jessica who arrived was almost unrecognizable from the entitled woman who had lived in my home. She was thinner dressed, simply with none of the designer accessories she had previously flaunted. Over the next hour, she told me about hitting rock bottom after Tyler left, about facing the consequences of her actions, about the shame she felt when she finally saw herself clearly. It took losing everything to realize what I had become, she said, wiping away tears. I do not expect you to forgive me. I would not in your place. But I wanted you to know that I understand now. and I am trying to be better. I did not offer money or a place to stay. Instead, I offered something more valuable, a chance to rebuild. I helped Jessica find a better job through a connection at work. I agreed to meet her regularly for coffee, to slowly reconstruct our relationship on healthier terms. When she enrolled in night classes to finish her degree, I expressed my pride in her choices. 6 months turned into a year. Jessica found a small studio apartment she could afford on her own. She made new friends who valued her for herself, not what she could provide them. She even started volunteering at a financial literacy program for young adults, using her experience as a cautionary tale. As for me, I learned crucial lessons about boundaries and true generosity. I discovered that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is not to rescue someone, but to let them face the consequences of their actions. I learned that giving is not always helping, and that real support sometimes means saying no. The family photograph now hangs prominently in my living room again. My father's watch sits safely in a lockbox at the bank. My savings have begun to recover, and so has my trust, slowly, cautiously. Jessica and I have a different relationship now. More honest, more balanced. She insists on paying her own way when we meet for dinner. She asks for advice rather than handouts. Recently, she gave me a small framed photo of us as children for my birthday. On the back, she had written, "Thank you for teaching me what really matters, even when the lesson hurt. Sometimes the hardest love is the truest. Sometimes family means holding each other accountable. And sometimes you have to lose what you thought you had to gain what you truly need." Have you ever had to make a difficult decision that ultimately led to healing? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories about family relationships and personal growth. Thank you for listening, and remember, true support means wanting the best for someone, not always giving them what they want.